We got the debut of Walter, and NXT UK is coming to Phoenix. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your January 30th, 2019 NXT UK review. Really good show, focusing on a lot of the monsters in NXT UK, plus setting up a lot for the shows that they taped during Royal Rumble weekend in Phoenix, which is kind of funny when you have a brand that is location specific not being in that location, but I guess WWE goes all over the world, so it is what it is. We replay once again Pete Dunne retaining his title against Joe Coffey at the TakeOver NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. Say that 3 times fast. And the arrival of Walter, just to let us know that Walter is coming tonight. It's really cool. You got a bunch of voiceovers from a bunch of different people telling us how awesome and gigantic Walter is. And then we get into our opening match, which I thought would have been that debut, but it wasn't. It was an equally big guy in Dave Mastiff, who I'm becoming a massive fan of, pun intended. And he's taken on Primate, and they told us what Primate's real name is, but I'm not going to use it because I've already heard Primate talked about. Listening to What Culture and other things, he's just always been Primate, so that's what he is to me. He comes out with the big gorilla mask too, so it is what it is. I mean, insert Naomi joke here. Moving on. Primate tries for a collar and elbow tie-up and just gets swatted away by Dave Mastiff because he's fucking huge. What I love about Dave Mastiff, and he has the gear that's sort of reminiscent of Big Van Vader, and the comparison fits because he's just so... He's big, but he's so thickly built that you see him get punched and it doesn't even look like contact has been made. He's that personification of the brick wall, to use a cliche. But if any of you have ever seen The Crow, where he first establishes his powers and he takes a punch from a guy on the side of a building and he just goes, sort of cracks his head back and looks the guy in the eye just to be like, yeah, you're kind of fucked. Dave Mastiff is like the full body embodiment of that sort of an attitude, but side headlock by Primate, who attempts to shoulder attack him a couple of times, but it gets hit by a flying crossbody by Mastiff for his trouble, which is terrifying, by the way. Back elbow by Primate, a series of strikes by Primate, and he attempts an armbar, but Mastiff throws him off with the arm that he's trying to bar. Now, you imagine normally you see somebody being put in an arm bar, they get kicked off, or, you know, the guy fights off with their head or fights off with their free hand. This guy just, oh, you're hanging on my arm, just whips him off. Fucking great. Uppercut by Mastiff, both men trade some strikes. A headbutt by Primate. The headbutt has very little effect. Tries to go back to the armbar again. Slightly more successful this time. Running senton twice to the back by Mastiff. And it was that weird way of hitting the senton where they're not flat on their belly. They're on all fours type of thing. So when the senton hits, not only is it hitting him, there's the first contact. His body hitting the mat is the second contact. And I will say, sorry, my chair is still busted. I still need to get a new one. They talked about that a lot. The whole, like, because he's not already flat on the ground, his back is supining every time he takes all that weight on his back. I mean, be real for a minute. Primate is a big, intense, scary-looking dude in his own right, but he's dwarfed by Dave Mastiff. Deadlift German suplex and a high-angle cannonball by Mastiff for the win. I almost thought that this... It's the NXT version of a squash, where even the guy getting squashed doesn't look that bad. But normally you would imagine this squash goes off, and then Mastiff just sort of, you know, metaphorically kicks him out of the ring to grab a mic and talk about whatever he's going to talk about. No, that was just it. He just came to kick Primate around a little bit, and that's just fine. We saw a replay of Gibson and Drake winning the tag team titles back at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, which was a really great match. I just watched it again the other day just to remind myself how good it is. And then we see a video package on Xia Brookside. Now, it's great because they're already setting her up to be, you know, I've always referred to Dakota Kai as Bayley done properly. There's a couple of other people. I mean, Candice LeRae could fall into that Bayley done properly category. Xia Brookside's another one. And I know they're trying to put her up as this, you know, Spitfire, you know, right, you know, with the youth and the underdog type of mentality, but they focus on her age and her size a lot, to the point where it's almost not uncomfortable, but it's a bit awkward. And I only say that because we just had the Royal Rumble this past Sunday, and we had Casey Catanzaro, or I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry, the chick from American Ninja Warrior, who is smaller than Xia Brookside, I'm pretty sure, and still did some amazing things. The spot between her and Rhea Ripley in the Rumble was fucking fantastic. Anyways, I like Xia Brookside. They don't overexpose her too much, which is really, really good. She's going to have a match next week, which is fantastic. Drake and Gibson come out, and obviously the crowd does the immediate, like, with the shoes off thing. Those of you who know that I do the highlight packages for the Destiny shows know I was talking about the Tyler Bate and Aiden Prince match that happened at Carnage 2 weekends ago. God bless them. A couple of the guys behind me tried to get some of the UK chants going in our very Canadian, Torontonian crowd, and it just didn't fly at all, which made me kind of sad. I tried to help the guy out, didn't really work that well. Basically, he said, Gibson gets on the mic, says, we've all been talking about soon for a long time. We've been focused on winning those titles while other people were coming up with clever nicknames for themselves. We were focused on getting those titles, being the first ever champions, while Mustache Mountain were worried about getting fancy new ring pants, which is good. We stole the show. We are the champions. And the crowd starts chanting, yeah, but you still suck. You still suck. You still suck. And he rolls with it too, which is cool. I like Gibson on the mic. He's really good. He's like, no. You're not going to take this glory from us. You can wave your shoes all you want, but you're going to call us what we are. We are the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. We are the grizzled young veterans. And then Sid Scala, assistant to Johnny Saint, comes out and says, congratulations. You know, big accomplishment. Rah. We're proud to have you as our champions. Very, very neutral for a GM type role to not be on a particular side, which is really, really good. He talks about the upcoming shows in Phoenix, and he starts talking about how we're going to go to America and show them why we are the best brand out there, right. But he constantly refers to the American crowd as their American cousins, which is a little off-putting. Maybe that's just a thing. Maybe that's just, you know, Canada and America, you know, talk about our brothers to the north, our brothers to the south. If the UK refers to all of North America as their cousins, I guess that's a thing. I found it a little bit strange. But he said, I bet you want the chance to prove that you're the world's greatest tag team and the best tag team out there. Johnny Saint found you your first challengers when we get to Phoenix. It's going to be Oney Lorcan versus Danny Burch. It's going to be NXT versus NXT UK, and I expect you not to let us down. Now, I get this in a way. I do. You want to do NXT versus NXT UK, but the NXT team, one half of that team is a guy that's now part of NXT UK. So it's NXT UK versus NXT and NXT UK. It's not quite what they want you to think it is, but it's good enough. We see some advertising for the Worlds Collide tournament that's coming Saturday. I haven't read the spoilers. I am going to watch it on Saturday. It's going to be good. We find out that next week Ligero is going to take on Mark Andrews. They're both baby faces, and I hope it stays that way. I hope this is not the chance to turn one of them. And then we get the debut of Walter, which is very, very short because it's Walter versus Jack Stars, which I'm pretty sure is their equivalent of Dolph Ziggler at this point in time. Stars tries to attack Walter at the beginning of the match. Walter's entrance, I mean, I know more than once they've mentioned what piece of classical music it is. I don't know. I don't write these things down because I'm not always that smart. The piece of music he comes out to is fucking phenomenal, and it's just, I'm big and I'm here, is what the music says, and it's really good. And trust me, I've heard a lot of things about Walter. I've seen the stop motion pictures of him chopping people and how it looks like their chests are completely indented, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's fucking massive. Sorry, I sound like shit. That's my bad. But basically, Stars tries to attack him right off the bat. Kane basically bounces off. Chop knockdown, a club to the back, an apron suplex on the outside, a boot, a knee, a running drop kick, and I've written down a power bomb, but this was almost, just because of the size of this guy, usually we say like an avalanche suplex if it's coming down from the top rope, but I will say in the center of that ring, what Walter hit, I'm going to call an avalanche power bomb because he put him through the damn mat. And at this point, I thought that somebody was going to come out and challenge him. He's the new big to borrow a Cassius Ohno phrase, which I don't know why I would want to do that, but he's the big shiny new toy. Why would you not want to make your name getting in his face? But nothing happens. He just sort of destroys Jack Stars, and that's his debut, which is fine. We recap Jenny beating Isla Dawn last week. I don't know why, because that just makes me sad right here. In the back, we see Walter coming back from his match, and Mark Coffey tries to get in his face for what he did to his brother, which is fine. Then Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel approach him, and they let him know, hey, if you ever need any friends around here, let us know. So they're trying to... While one guy is trying to make a name against the new guy, the other ones are trying to cozy up to him because, yeah. Anyways, Ginny versus Casey Owens was a thing that happened. Casey Owens, they made a very good point of telling us that she's crazy. She then proves that she's crazy because she hangs, in her entrance, she hangs upside down from the top rope, crucifix style, as part of her entrance, which looked really cool. I don't know anything about her, other than what we're about to talk about, but she was pretty good, and I'm still mixed on Ginny, guys. I know that, like, she's obnoxious on purpose. I know that that's the shtick. I know I'm not supposed to like her. But it's not that I don't like her. I see her in the ring, I go, okay, she's a good wrestler. I don't care. Give me some characters. Give me Zaya Brookside. Give me Isla Dawn. Give me Rhea Ripley. Give me our champion, Toni Storm. Give me Dakota Kai when she comes back from injury. Give me, I don't know, the friggin' Candy Floss chick, because she's kind of badass and I like her a lot. But whether it's they're amazingly awesome, or they're a little bit fun, or they're a little bit goofy, or I hate them, give me all of those, but don't give me somebody in Ginny who, with no offense to her, because she's talented enough, kind of makes me shrug my shoulders a little bit. That's all I can really say. Collar and elbow tie up in an armbar by Ginny with nails in the forearm, which was a decent little, like, you know, you got your muscle all the way stretched out. Why not dig some nails in there? It's all good. Snapmare by Owens, and I lost my place, and I lost my fucking voice, and it's one of those days, guys. I am very sorry. And see, all my notes are like snapmare by Owens, which makes me think Kevin Owens came back at the Rumble, which he did not. Headlock by Ginny and a tackle axe handle by Ginny to the back. A pinning reversal sequence, a double ankle lock by Ginny was interesting enough. Uppercuts by Owens, double knees by Owens, and a springboard moonsault crossbody. Hurricane Rana. I told you. It's one of those kind of days. Hurricane Rana by Ginny. Owens eats the turnbuckle. Owens eats the guardrail. Abdominal stretch by Ginny with the nails in the midsection, adding to the torture element of that. Hanging armbar by Owens, almost Alberto Del Rio style, even though we're not allowed to mention his name anymore. Ginny's version of the X Factor from the second rope. I think she calls it like the makeover or some shit like that because it goes with her gimmick. Ginny gets the win, and as I say, for a perfectly competent match with nothing really wrong with it, I sort of shake my head, shrug my shoulders. I want to see more of this Casey Owens chick because, you know, who doesn't love crazy chicks? I wish I had more. I almost wish I had something negative to say about this match, because then I would at least have something to say about this match, but I just don't. We go to the back, and Rhea Ripley storms into the office where Johnny Saint and Sid Scala are, and she says, I heard what you were saying out there. You know, you want to show the people in Phoenix what we can do. I demand a rematch against Toni Storm for my title that she took at TakeOver. Rah. I said, okay, we'll think about it, and we throw back to the commentators, who confirm that in 3 weeks... 3 weeks from tonight, we're going to see a rematch between Storm and Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Now, this, mentioning that it's 3 weeks away, it really does pinpoint the issues created by pre-taping the shows. I don't mind that NXT and NXT UK are pre-taped. It's fine. I really could give a shit less. But Royal Rumble was last Sunday. That's when they were all in Phoenix, and we're going to see what they did in Phoenix 3 or 4 weeks from now. It's a bit much, but I don't really... Again, all I can do is shrug my shoulders. We're going to get Ripley versus Storm again, and that just makes my fucking life. As I say, Rhea Ripley, I'm really bummed, actually, that Toni Storm didn't show up, because she was shown in the crowd the night before at TakeOver Phoenix. But the fact that Toni Storm wasn't in... The fact that Toni Storm wasn't in the Women's Royal Rumble when Pete Dunne was in the Men's Rumble, when... Johnny Gargano, the NXT North American champion, was in there. I think it was just a missed opportunity. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not a huge crime. It didn't take away from my enjoyment of the Rumble, and yes, I enjoyed the Rumble. But it's kind of a bummer, because I'm a big stand for Toni Storm. Throw Isla Dawn in there as well, because she's a little bit on the smaller side. She could have faced off with Casey Catanzaro. We could have seen all kinds of rematches from the two previous Mae Young Classics, and it would have been good. we got a commercial for Halftime Heat, the 3-on-3 match that is taking place with the NXT superstars during the Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about the Super Bowl. I'm probably going to catch this later on, but it's going to be, indeed, Ricochet, Velveteen Dream, and... oh, fuck me. Aleister Black taking on the reformed DIY, basically, and Adam Cole, baby, based on all that stuff that happened after the cameras stopped rolling at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, which is going to be good. I mean, it's a little bit of pub and a little bit of PR for WWE, for NXT, for the WWE Network during the Super Bowl, so good for them. And then we find out that next week we're going to get Mark Coffey versus Walter, and who didn't see that coming from the confrontation previously. And the main event was Mustache Mountain versus Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. And I don't know, guys. There's a lot of really cool things in this match. I really don't want to talk about it that much, if I'm honest. It was a lot of really good, nice wrestling. I like Mustache Mountain. I like this team of Fabian Eichler and Marcel Barthel, and if they link up somehow with Walter, that's fine. There was a mid-air face-first jackhammer thing by Fabian Eichner midway through this match. The toss brainbuster thing, double team move that they do, almost got them the win, but Mustache Mountain rally. They hit the lariat suplex combination. I think they call it the Snapdragon for the win. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, like, this match would be important if there wasn't other cooler stuff on this show. Hyping up the stuff that's happening in Phoenix and hyping up the debut of Walter were the focuses of this show. This was a perfectly fine tag team match that shouldn't have been stuck in a main event slot, if that makes any sense at all. I like these guys. I like Barthel and Fabian. Neither one of them was being used in NXT. Throw them in NXT UK as a tag team, and I think they've found something cool. Fabian Eichner is an untapped talent, and he could walk on the main roster tomorrow and be fine. But it's a perfectly good match that was sort of out of nowhere. And with so much other stuff that we're building to right now, we've got the Grizzled Young Veterans taking on Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch to look forward to. We've got Toni Storm versus Rhea Ripley in that rematch coming up. We've got the Halftime Heat thing. We've got Coffey versus Walter. We've got the Worlds Collide tournament and all this other, frankly, better stuff on this show tonight. And it's just... It happens to be the one that gets the short end of the stick. It's a perfectly good match that, unfortunately, I just wasn't into. But that doesn't mean that it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. If you like a whole lot of really good psychological, mat-based storytelling tag team wrestling, go back and watch it. It is worth watching, but it's just, I could go through it, but I would just start getting repetitive, and I really don't want to do that because I'm going to be knocking out at least one more review tonight. That's basically it. We're building to a lot of different things, which is it's always very weird to say, because when we went into January, we were building towards UK TakeOver, we were building to Phoenix TakeOver, we were building to the Royal Rumble. Everything was going wildly off in all directions, as the expression goes. And this show alone gave me that feeling all over again, which is exciting, but it's also a lot to take in. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.